Stock Tip. Best Stock Setups.
Hi, and welcome back again to a new episode of Stock Tip Daily Update with me, Marcel Toder. Today was another interesting day. The markets were pretty wild today, and just in the last minutes before the Fed announcement, I've actually heard of the Fed announcement, and that just goes to see that everything that you see in the news is pretty much BS. So I've been saying now since last week that a bounce is going to come, and today I was reading in the news the markets are reacting positively in expectation of positive Fed decision. So that's a load of BS. The market is behaving the way the market is behaving because we are too many days down. We were 10% down in the SPY, we were 15% down in the Nasdaq, and the bounce was bound to happen. I think the bounce would have been something more pronounced, but seeing what the Fed decided, and it's not surprising, seeing what the Fed decided, we've actually, I think we've ended our bounce. I think the bounce ended with a 9-day moving average, and it's something we kind of anticipated. That's why we've said I would like to take a big chunk of the profits as soon as we touch the 9-day moving average. So I didn't get quite there, but I still managed to close all of these trades, the SPY, the Nasdaq, and the IVM, with 5% plus in whole portfolio value. I will show you in a couple of minutes, but right now back to the markets. What's our strategy next? Well, I think this was it with the bounce. I quite frankly doubt we are going to see another positive day. But you know how the market is right now. The market is unpredictable, and you could just see another positive day. You could just see that we do touch the 20. I don't think so, but if we do, then good. I am not invested anymore. I still retain one really tiny position. So if we do, no problem. I am going to be glad if we do it, because we are going to be able to reach a better entry on our short again for when the short comes. For the moment now, I am going to. I think we have three possibilities. I think most probable is that we are going to consolidate for another day or two before we breach this support line again. The second possibility is that directly tomorrow we are going to open with a small gap, and we are going to breach to go directly through the support line here. And if that's not the case, then the third possibility would be that we continue our bounce, one day up, one day down, another day up, until we do reach our 20-day moving average, perhaps here in this range, 450 in the SPY, and perhaps 362 in the Nasdaq. We shouldn't do any predictions. We should just wait, be patient, and see what kind of opportunities the market offers us. You see the last opportunity here, just this last opportunity in the last couple of days, in the last 3 days, we've managed to make 5%. And I keep hearing, I've lost 60,000, I've lost 1 million in the last couple of weeks. Well, we are up 15%. Since 19 December. That's when I've started Stock Tip, and that's when Stock Tip got its portfolio updated. And you can see that on our website, stock-tip.com. It's all there for you to see. And since the last week of December, since the 19th of December, 15% up, and that's something that I'm proud of. In the IVM, pretty much the same story here. I would have liked to see a little bounce in all of them, and then I could have certainly said, okay, we've got there now. The journey south is going to continue. It just doesn't look complete at the moment, but with such a Fed decision, you never know. It doesn't matter. I think I'm going to sit on the sideways for a couple of days. If the market is decisively going south again, and if I get a nice setup, then I will join in on the action again on the short side. If not, I will just wait for the next opportunity and sit comfy on my 15%. Meanwhile, the DAX has also opened with a gap and didn't hold it. But we are still above this big support line. If we the tempo is here dictated from or by the American markets. If the American markets fall, then we will also see the DAX falling without a question. So if the DAX falls, we've already reached this small support line. So if the next target would be this gap here, or probably this gap filled here, and this would be the next target in the gap if we do reach our support. Then euro to US dollar, this is performing very nice. This is performing in my favor. For, as you know, my portfolio is in euros, or at least the currency is euro, and I've hedged it all in US dollar now, and my portfolio gets better and better and adds value as the euro loses its weight. So it couldn't get any better. I think if I just sit on the sideways, then my portfolio is going to gain value alone 1 or 2% from this pair here, euro to US dollar. The next target would be here 1.11, but the next probable, or the I hope, target would be 1.08. And with that, I could live happily ever after, no questions asked, or even 1.06. But I think perhaps somewhere in this region is more probable. We shall wait and see. Oil also had an undecisive day. We haven't reached our resistance line, and I doubt we are really going to go above the resistance line. I think we are just going to move inside this trend canal here, this long trend canal. I think we are going to bounce down again, so be on your lookout. If we do reach 245, this may just be a nice opportunity to go short on oil, with a nice target here by 168 or so, 169, 170. This would be a nice, theoretically at least, a nice target. And a whole of a lot of upside, because your stop would be somewhere above the coming outside reversal. So a very small stop and very huge potential. Actually, I'm going to mark this. It's something I am interested in. You remember what I said yesterday about gold, and what I've been saying actually for a couple of days. Do be careful in gold. For yesterday, we've managed to close above the resistance line, and today, surprise, surprise, we've opened with a gap, and we've closed miles beneath our closing from yesterday. So that's what I was saying about gold. That's why I'm never invested in precious metals, and that's why I'm never going to invest in precious metals. If you're still invested, I hope you've listened to me. For yesterday, I've told you your stop should be somewhere here, and you should choose a position respectively. So correspondingly. So if you've chosen your stop here, as I've advised against doing, then you are already stopped. You've been already stopped if you've chosen your position here, and if you have such a big position, then sorry. So I'm sorry for you, but that wasn't the right thing to do. I think the most logical stop would be here, and if gold goes beneath, and it's very possible that we get a bigger gap tomorrow, a gap down, then I would advise you say goodbye to gold. Silver also not doing any better, also with a gap down, not a huge gap, but still a gap. We are actually still above the support line, and we are consolidating here nicely. But if gold goes, I think silver will also go. Okay, now to some. Actually, I wanted to show you something. I was hoping here for a week or so that Apple would give us a nice opportunity to buy again. That's why, because of this formation here in Apple, I still think it may be possible to continue our bounce until we definitely touch the 20-day moving average in the SPY and also in Apple, and after that go south again. So the bounce may just not be completed, and I personally orientate myself in many instances by looking at Apple, and Apple still looks a little incomplete. We shall see tomorrow. I think Apple will go with the market, or better yet, the market will adapt to Apple's chart. Like I've said before, this is only technical analysis. It's no fortune telling. These are no predictions. But based on my experience, the market may still surprise us and still touch our initial targets. It's of not importance to us now because we are out, we are on the side bench. We'll just wait and see. If the opportunity presents itself, we won't fail to get it. So Apple remains high on our watch list, and I do advise you to also keep it high in yours. And Twitter, not of interest for me. Amazon with this sideways consolidation here, probably another day or two. This also looks a little incomplete because we haven't even neared the 9-day moving average. But if this trend continues, we will possibly touch the 9-day moving average today if we reach today's tomorrow. If we reach today's high, which also here we shall wait and see what happens. Okay, and Netflix hasn't moved pretty much. Google the same. For me, also a little incomplete. I still think tomorrow we are going to be inside today's candle, and we aren't going to get a big gap. This is just an opinion. If I was sure of it, I would have already opened another long position, but I won't be doing this again. I will just wait and see. Meanwhile, my position survives. We'll get close again tomorrow, I'm sure of it. And with that, my last position will be closed, and I think there are still about about $10 that I will be losing when this position closes. So with that, also ends my my losses. So the trade we did the last couple of days, the last 3 days, was a very nice trade. I will try to picture it for you here. You will also find a better describing than this one on our website, on the home page, in the gallery. So this was the first setup here. It was a nice setup, and you see here that this was the intraday consolidation. I will try to make it a little bigger for you to see. This was a nice intraday trend, which after 1, 2, 3 touches we managed to break through, and we were just slightly above the 90 moving average, and we also managed to break above the VWAP. So this was a clear signal that I should buy because we managed to break over the VWAP. I actually bought, and there was another marker here, and this was the 426 line. This was the last big support line from the SPY. You see it here. So this was the last major support line, and here with this setup here, we not only had an intraday consolidation and a nice setup intraday, we've also touched three major technical yeah, you know what I mean. We've had the 9-day EMA 9 in the 15-minute chart. We've had the VWAP. We've also had this resistance line, and we've also had our trend line. And just with one candle, we've managed to break through all of them, and that was my buy. This was my first buy. This was my stop just beneath the first candle. So a minimal risk, a very minimal risk, and we've consolidated a little after the pullback came, but my stop held, and then came another breakout. So I used this next breakout to buy myself in again, and actually I think, yes, to buy myself in again. And here I bought a new position, a second position, half as big as the first one, with a stop here. So I had two stops, one here, one here. And after the next pullback, I've taken the first profits. Basically, I've closed, I had 80 pieces, and I've closed 20 here. That was my first profit. With this profit, I've pulled both stops here, and the next day was bad, but my stop held. And at the beginning of at the end of yesterday's trading hours, not quite at the end, just before that, we've managed to touch this level. So this is where I took another big chunk of profits. I think I've closed half of the remaining position. I remained with I think 30 or no, with 50 pieces. No, not half of the remaining. I still closed a big chunk of the remaining position, but I remained with 50. And today we had a nice gap up. So with this occasion, my stop moved from here to here. After this pullback, my new stop was here, and intraday, just before the Fed announced, I've moved my stop here because the volatility was going through the roof. I didn't want to risk losing any more money, so my new stop was I think here. There was my last stop, and of course my whole position got stopped. And it's not bad because after the Fed announcement, we just went south without explanation. So basically the same here. Opening position, stop, second entry, with another stop. I think the profits were here, where the 50 moving averages. Then the new stop, new profits, new stop, and here new stop, and complete stop, full stop. And the last trade was the IVM. This was a smaller position, definitely a smaller position. Sadly, it won't open. So yes, now it opened. So it didn't go just as well as the others. So this was the first entry here. I also wasn't paying attention, and I bought it just here, so my risk was a little bigger. And I didn't do a second entry here. This is where I've taken my first profits, about here somewhere. Then I've pulled my stop here. Here I was stopped, but I've managed to re-enter the trade here. So I've had a nice profit here. I still close in plus. Then I managed to re-enter the trade here with a stop here. Here I've taken another, I think I've closed half of my position. Today, at the beginning of today's trading, my new stop was actually still here, but after the opening with a nice gap, I've put my stop here. After the breakout, the next level, and like in the others, I got stopped here. So 3 nice trades going up on the website. I hope you enjoyed these trades, and these are technical trades based on a very nice technical analysis, if I dare say it myself. I hope you all think so. If you do have any questions related to these trades, don't be shy about it. Just write them down in the comment section. Yeah, and that's all for today's discussion. I will be continuing with the third part of our video, and this is the setup session. So thank you for joining me today. Remember to join us on Facebook and on Instagram. I will leave the links from the website in the description below. Okay, see you tomorrow. And now with the third part of our video,